I'm an attorney and have done much of my work since I became an attorney over the past couple of decades in the public defender's office here in Shelby County. It's one of the larger public defender's office in the region, representing tens of thousands of people every year. And I went to work there right out of law school, and then over the next 10 or so years, did mostly criminal defense, but ended up back in the public defender's office in 2010. And we were working on sort of changing the way that public defense was seen in the community, the way it was funded, the way we staffed our office, the way we did our work, and doing it more out in the open, and doing it with more partners, and doing it with more resources, hopefully for our clients, which was the ultimate goal. And so one of the things that we needed was a partner in the community that was independent and that was a nonprofit that could raise money and spend money in ways that we couldn't as a government agency. And so that's what Just City was designed to do, was to fill in some of the gaps for the clients and their clients' families at the public defender's office. And we, found funding within the community. The community said, yes, that's a viable nonprofit that we don't have in this community quite yet. And so here we are. So we've been around for about 6 years, and trying to, number one, tell the stories of our clients and the public defender clients in a way that typically doesn't happen, and to, promote and give voice to ideas and solutions in this system that generally don't get heard because of our elected officials and our leadership, particularly in this community, are sort of still chasing the old narratives of crime and punishment and tough on crime and 3 strikes and you're out. A lot of the things that got us to this point as a country and as a community. In this community, we're one of the most incarcerated communities in the country, in a state that is one of the most incarcerated states in the country. So there's a lot of work to do, and slowly trying to change hearts and minds about what it means to be safe and what it means to go through a criminal legal system that has elements still of slavery, has elements deep racism, deep disparities for people of color, and it often just depends on how much money you have instead of whether you're guilty or innocent. We are, pursuing policies and practices in this community that are fair to everyone, regardless of race, ethnicity, or wealth. That's the simplest way to put it, is that there are really 2 systems at play here and in most communities across the country, but particularly here in a place like Memphis that has, real challenges with poverty and real challenges with a history of racism. If you have money, and you are brought into this system, you have one path toward the end. And if you don't have money and you're brought into this system, the path that you have is very different. And so we want one path. We want fairness and an equal treatment for anyone who comes into this system. And so our programs and our day-to-day work are designed to help raise those issues and help when we can, give people that fair shot at justice, and give people a chance at getting back to even with their community, even if they've committed a crime.
What do you love most about your work?
I love the clients. I love the people who find their voice because of something that Just City has done. People who come alongside of us and can tell a story that I can't tell, that no one here at Just City can tell. I mean, when I see that happen, and when I get to, I'm fortunate enough to be beside someone who speaks their story and speaks their truth about the criminal legal system. That's kind of the most rewarding thing, is giving someone a chance, or helping someone find a chance to say what the system has done, how it's failed or how it's succeeded. And I like the part that leads up to that, the part where I get to sit down with someone and talk about the challenges ahead. I love, the success stories, of course, are the best when we hear from folks years down the road who we were able to help, and their lives are transformed. Their lives are very different. It may sound like a silly thing, but when someone can clear a criminal record from their permanent history, which is one of our programs, the Clean Slate Fund, a lot of times it turns their life around, and it turns the life of their family around. We hear stories of children who do better in school because their mom or dad is there after dinner every night to help with homework, because they have a job that is day shift and not 3 night shift jobs, or some temporary hourly job. And an expungement can mean the difference in unstable, inconsistent employment and stable, benefited long-term employment. And those things trickle down into a family to things like grades for kids. I mean, it can lead to home ownership. We've had that story. So, whenever I'm talking with our clients or hearing from our clients or working for our clients, that's my favorite part. We do the same thing with the bail fund. We have the Memphis Community Bail Fund here at Just City, and we pay to get people out of jail before the disposition of their case, while they're deciding how to proceed with their defense, with their lawyer. And we even that playing field too, because people with resources who get arrested and taken into that jail can buy their freedom and can buy a seat at their lawyer's office instead of a visit in jail. And we do that for people who can't afford it, give them the same chance that someone like me, someone with resources, would have to navigate that system. And those decisions and those payments can change people's lives too, because what we know about people who go to jail is that after about 3 days, life begins to unravel. You can lose a car, you can lose an apartment, you can lose custody of a child. And so getting people back into their lives while they decide how to proceed in a criminal case, it means that our community suffers less damage. Whether the person's guilty or not guilty, we owe them a chance to navigate the system equally with their peers and with other members of the community. And if they're guilty, they're held accountable, just like I would be or anyone else would be. It shouldn't matter how much money you have or the color of your skin when it comes to justice.
Thank you. You're doing such great work for the city of Memphis. I want to transition now into a question about the city of Memphis. What do you love most about Memphis and the people there?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the same answer. It's the people, right? The thing that I love about this place is the heart of the people who call it home, whether they were born here or not. I think it's a city that attracts, in many ways, a certain kind of person. I think the people who were born here have a certain attitude and outlook on life that is, it's very unique, and it's appealing. I've been here. I'm not a native, and I've been here for well over 25 years now, and call it home. Won't ever leave. But the thing that the people of this community, of this little plot of land next to the river, have brought to the world over the past 150, 200 years, it's quite a long list compared to many other cities in the world. The music, obviously, the food, just the spirit, the resilience. I mean, this city has seen some stuff. I mean, it is almost wiped out by a yellow fever epidemic back in the 19th century, and having the nation's leading civil rights leader executed here in the latter part of the 20th century, and having risen from all of that to continue to lead in a lot of areas in innovation and philanthropy. I mean, a very, very generous city. So the people that make all that up are what's special. We have, the weather is not my favorite, right? The vistas are not the kinds that I like, but this place is really special, right here in the middle of the country, and again, I call it home, and I'll never leave.
Thank you. And thinking a little bit more about Memphis, what are some of your hopes for the future of the city of Memphis?
Yeah, I think, all the great things about it, I think it is far from realizing its full potential. And I think the flip side of some of those positive things that I said about the people and the culture here is a complex that we have, I think collectively, that we're just not quite good enough, right? We're not a world-class city. We're Memphis, we love it here and it's ours, but we'll never be something better. We can't get to the places that we see pure cities get to. And I don't think that's true. I think we have shown over and over in our history as a city that we can overcome. I think that the ideas and energy and again, philanthropy, the money, that the resources that are here in this community are more than enough to realize a prosperous, safe, healthy community. And even though we top a lot of bad lists, and even though we obviously have clear problems with poverty and with racism and with systems that are completely dysfunctional, I believe that the people who are here, who are working on those issues, have those solutions, and they have the drive and the heart, and they don't have any quit. And so I think slowly but surely, hopefully over the course of my lifetime, we will begin to realize some of the possibilities, especially in public safety and criminal justice and crime and punishment, where we lag very, very far behind most communities. We are still stuck in a rut that just doesn't work. It steals life. It keeps us less safe, makes this place not nearly as prosperous and full of opportunity as it could be when we continue to make the same decisions regarding public safety and criminal justice. And so, our job at Just City is to be a small part of what this city needs, and that is, better ideas, voices, and platforms for people to express those better and different ideas. And we're gonna keep doing our part in our issue. And I know that there are thousands of people out there just like us, working on education and healthcare and nutrition and other opportunity and hope for the people of this city. And I think we're getting there. I've seen progress in just the few years that we've been doing this here at Just City, and I know there's more to come.
Thanks so much. Is there anything else you would like to add before we conclude?
I think I probably didn't say enough that this community lags in many, many, many ways, in many areas, and we don't have to go through the statistics, but particularly in our area of criminal justice, we treat people quite differently than a lot of other communities. Still, we were stuck in a place that the whole country has come through at one point or another. Memphis just seems to have a hard time to get out of it. People ask me all the time, why do we tolerate this injustice or that injustice, whatever we're talking about at the time? And I think we don't say enough, especially people who look like me don't say enough, that we tolerate some of the things that Just City is working against because Black lives do not matter. The claim and the cry and the hope that Black lives will matter one day in our country is a vital piece to understand, why we have the problems we do. And because so many of the things we're working on at Just City impact people of color, Black people in particular, in ways that people who look like me couldn't imagine. And it's because Black lives haven't mattered in this community and in many communities in the South and in fact in the country, and they continue to not matter. But that's why we continue to tolerate a jail that's the size of the one we have. That's why we continue to tolerate the delays of justice for victims and people who are accused of crimes that we tolerate. And until we as a country really wake up to the original sin of this country, wake up to the systems that we've perpetuated and even continue to build that protect white wealth and protect white power and are white supremacist in their nature, until we realize that, we're not going to see a lot of progress. We're going to fight through and get some progress, but we've got to wake up to this fact that people's lives are not as important when their skin color is different from mine. And so I try to say that as often as I can, and people will take it how they'll take it. But I think it's important to, especially in the issue that we're fighting against in Just City, to note that until Black lives actually matter, until we stare that in the face and reconcile with our past, we're not going to make the kind of progress we want.